Hello, welcome. Thanks for spending some time with us today as we focus on what's happening with the Insights feature within Microsoft Dynamics 365 and the product direction both from Microsoft and Inside View. My name is Chad Collette. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Ledger Partners. We're a Microsoft Dynamics Gold partner where we help businesses transform their approach to sales, marketing, and customer service by aligning these teams to focus on improving their customers' experience. Now, before I introduce our presenter for today, I have just a couple quick housekeeping items to cover. First, I want to mention that today's webinar is being recorded and will be available on demand after the live session. All attendees will receive a follow-up email after the webinar is complete with a link to access the presentation. We encourage you to share this with any others that would find it applicable. If you have not already done so, please add @Ledger Partners to your safe sender list to ensure that our emails are reaching your inbox. Now, to ensure the best audio quality, we have everyone in listen-only mode today. But if you have a question, please submit those in the question pane of your GoToWebinar control panel. We have a lot of information to get through today, but we'll follow up offline and answer every question that is submitted. Now, as you hopefully are aware, the Insights functionality powered by Inside View within Microsoft Dynamics 365 is a powerful sales intelligence feature that's been available to Dynamics 365 online users at no charge. Well, Microsoft has recently announced that this Insights feature within Dynamics will not be available to new customers and is being discontinued as a free resource to its current users this coming August. But don't worry, doesn't mean Insights is going away completely. You do have options. So what does that mean for users and for administrators? Well, joining us today and ready to break it all down for you is Michelle Horn from Inside View. Michelle is a senior manager with the Microsoft Alliance team and is a true Insights enthusiast. Michelle, I know you're super busy, so we really appreciate the time to join us today and provide us some key insights into the Insights product.
Yes, so thank you for having us. So I'm going to do a quick little winning with Inside View. I've got some PowerPoints. I'm going to mix that up with a demo and give you some slides for resources and stuff. So can I just see a quick show of hands? Who's already been using Insights of you guys? Anybody? Okay, a couple people. All right, so let me kind of walk through a little bit of this. So to set this up, so we're going to talk about why sales intelligence is important, why you should even care, what is Insights powered by Inside View, and a little bit of why Inside, and kind of what that transition is happening. So here's the stats that we have. 92% of buyers ignore unsolicited calls or emails. 77% of buyers don't think their sales reps are adding any value or understands this business, which means that they're inclined to leave you pretty easily. And then only 7% of sales people get a second meeting. So we have to start doing different things now. So in order to achieve high response rates, if you only have data, if you're a salesperson, if you only have company and contact data, you are not going to get very far. If you have insights, which are considered business events by us, and you can start talking to relevant business events, a leadership change, an acquisition, real estate development, you all of a sudden open those doors and have a that's really good English, a much better chance of having a higher response rate. And then if you have connections, which are warm introductions into those people, that's where it starts becoming even more amazing. So what does Insights do? So these are the top 5 things that Insights does. We're going to update data, get news alerts, do a bunch of account research, find contacts, add contacts, and figure out how do we find warm connections. So I'm going to do that all super quick and just give you a really broad overview. So here's how it works. All right, so I am in my CRM right now. You can see that Insights comes up on the top right-hand side of my CRM. And so here's a couple things I'm going to do quickly. If I want to either start a new account, augment my data, fill in the gaps, if I click on the little circle, I'm going to come over here and you're going to knock on our door and you're going to say, hey guys, what do you have? And we're going to say, these are all the different components that we have. And you say, yep, those are the components I want. If I didn't want something, I'd uncheck it and I'd click update account. And all of a sudden, you're going to pull all that stuff down into your CRM. So I don't know about you, but I don't know of any salesperson or any person that likes to input data. So this is a really quick pull it down and fill in all those gaps. So now you can see I've got phone, website, revenue, employees, so on and so forth. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do if I'm looking at an account and this is an important account to me, I'm actually going to watch them and put them on a watch list. If you click the little eyeball, it's typically a toggle on, toggle off. I happen to have multiple watch lists, so I'm going to throw it on my demo watch list. But here's what happens. you can actually see an email on a daily basis of all the accounts that you care about. So it's you specifically. So I can see that HP had some very specific types of news alerts. Chevron, specific, right? Google, now Alphabet, specific types of stuff. So we're trying to cut through the noise and just give you as much as we can offered up on a plate. And so that's called a watch list. And when news comes out about that company, it's going to throw it on this watch list. Now, not all companies have a lot of news. The smaller the company, the smaller amount of news that they'll create or is created about them. So as I keep moving on, so there's a bunch of news that we're starting to tell you about in here. Now I'm going to go get a little bit more specific. When I go into the overview over here, it's going to start, again, we're starting to dig deeper into an account. I've got the firmographics. Is this the right company? Are they the right target for me? I've got a bunch of news and I've got key contacts. If I go dig into my news now, this is how I'm trying to get that super juicy, relevant thing to talk about. I want to make sure that we're having a value add conversation. If I can't add value, the chances of getting them on the phone and getting to the next level are super slim. So I've got some funding developments down here. I've got some partnerships. Marketing executives, if I know specifically something that helps me, so for instance, leadership changes down here, I could say, you know what, just tell me what leadership changes you've got going on and let's go talk about that, right? Or building or whatever the case may be. And so we're trying to cut through the noise. So from a research perspective, over here, there's a one-page overview on the industry, trends and challenges that I should know. There's similar accounts. If Amgen's an ideal customer, there's more in here. I can click on view more and go follow these companies. I can dig into the companies and keep going deeper. If they're public, we'll have financials. So when I click on view more here, you'll see that we have their SEC filings. There's 10Q, the 8K, the 11K. And when you click on these, it's just a link right out to that and go dig. Okay. So my goal here is to really wrap my arms around an account and add value. I need to know what's going on. They don't want me to learn on their dime. So now I'm going to click over here to family trees and we'll come back to contacts in a moment. So this is the food chain. Are you in the top, the middle, are they at the bottom, right? Who have they absorbed and acquired and are no longer in business, right? So we're trying to give you all of this information so that you can have educated conversations and make educated decisions. Tech Profiler is about the technologies that they use. We only have about 500,000 companies with Tech Profilers, so it's not everybody of the 12 million companies we have, but it's a pretty nice subset. And then the Buzz is, what are they saying about themselves? So what is Amgen saying? What are they saying on their blogs? What are they saying on their Facebook page? And again, I'm gathering all this data to start having a strategic conversation with them. Now, when I talk about people, I'm going to go over here to finding contacts. And in the finding contacts, I can start figuring out who are the people that I want. So if I go click on the little filter, which is typically how people search, I'd say I want sales and marketing. I want somebody that's pretty high up, and these are the people. And so now I could say, you know what? I want Brent makes sense, Christopher makes sense, and Alan makes sense. I can either put those on a watch list and watch them in the news, or I can add them as contacts to Amgen. Right? And then I'm going and digging in those contacts and I'm going to start having conversations. Okay. So I'm going to switch gears and go to a different person really quick, a different company and different person, because I want to talk to you about finding company people and digging deeper here. So in this case, I'm going to go to Inside View and I'm going to talk about the connections here. So let me go to Find Contacts and I'll bring up all the people at Inside View. We're going to talk about Heidi and talk about our connections. So our connections are conceptually the same, similar to LinkedIn, but our connections are going to be a little bit different, in which case we're pulling in Gmail, Outlook, LinkedIn, work history, education, and referenceable customers. So it's just different. It's additive. I would use both, honestly. So here, if I want to go figure out how I'm connected to Heidi, this is called a connections graph. So I can see all my coworkers are connected to Heidi. Where it gets interesting is when I keep scrolling down here, I have a person that I know that's in my Outlook that used to work with her. Okay. I have a person down here, Brian Bachhoffner, that used to work with her at the exact same time at Hoover's. Not they both worked there, and it could have been a 20-year span. At the exact same time they overlapped. He was a channel manager. She was a former VP. Pretty good chance that they would know each other. Okay, and I keep looking for all these really weird connections that you're not going to typically find on LinkedIn. So the last person was not connected with her on LinkedIn. And it also might be that she used to work at a referenceable customer. So she used to work at First Research. that are referenceable customers of ours, meaning we did something good for them. Not necessarily mean that they're going to get on the phone and talk with her, but we did something good. So I might go to the person that did first research and say, hey, what did you do there? And they said we did X, Y, and Z, in which case maybe that's, I go to Heidi and say, hey, Heidi, we did this for first research and they loved it. Does it make sense for us to do it for you at Inside View? Okay, so that's how the connections work. So it's these really weird spider web of who you could and should know. All right, so do I have a question, Chad? There was a question started. I see that. So that's the connections. Now, if I want to go dig into Heidi here, I'm going to go click on Heidi, and it's actually going to take me to her lead record, or we could take her to a Discovery Center. But I'm going to go into Heidi right here, and I'm going to start digging deeper. Now, this is about Heidi. I've wrapped my arms around an account. I know what I want to do. I'm going to come over here and look at Heidi. Inside View, when we load our window takes its turn and waits patiently for the entire CRM page to load. So sometimes when it seems like we're slower to load, it's really because we're just waiting for the CRM page to load and we're taking our turn. So we sit down here from a lead perspective. So what I really like is I like this start a conversation. I can follow Heidi. I can sync her data down. I could tell Inside View that they got something wrong. She's not there. Her title's wrong, something. You could actually tell us and we'll go fix it. But when I start a conversation with Heidi here, I can dig deep into Heidi and I could say, what do I need to know about Heidi? If I wanted to schedule a call right here in CRM, I can. Right, this is my Heidi. Oh, we found a mismatch. Hang on. Let me select her. So now it says, all right, here's her profile. She's a really rich profile. Maybe the way that I connect with her is Girl Scouts. I just started a brownie troop for my daughter, right? Maybe we went to school together. Here's her Twitter feed, and this is my view, which is customizable. Here's that connections graph we went through. Here's all the news. Now, if Heidi was in the news, it's going to put her news first, and then it's going to talk about the rest of the company news. And if I sell horizontally, I can add this call prep questions, which is there's always going to be one or two really great questions that I should know and ask to make sure that she knows I understand her industry. Okay, so that's how we dig into people. So the last thing I'm going to show you, and again, I'm giving you a super high overview, is I'm going to show you how to build a list. If you want to start prospecting and get net new logos, I've got a list build here. I'm going to do a super quick list here. So I'm going to say, I want California. I want banks. And I want them to be a certain size. I'm going to say 500 million and up. So now we have 25 banks in California that are this big. These banks I already have in my database because I have little buildings here. But down here, I don't have Stearns and California banks. So I could grab those, go add them as an account, and now they're accounts in my database. And it's the same process. I go dig into that account. So that's a super big a super fast rendition of what is Inside View. So let me pop back to PowerPoint real quick. So it's really about targeting the right buyers with the right message at exactly the right time, right? Giving that context, being relevant. We have to be relevant now. So why Inside View? So that's one of the questions that we get asked, particularly now that Microsoft is going to discontinue paying for it and people have to pay for it on their own. Is why us. We're integrated fully with Dynamics. We have excellent support. The backend switch is unnoticeable by everybody, users and admins. It's better data if you compare us, if you go look on other third-party review sites, and you have a huge platform to deal with, as well as we can do professional services. So we can help, right? Insights is about sales and marketing. There's other things we can help with, lists builds. We can do things on the back end and do all that data automatically on the back end. There's a bunch of things we can do. We can do go-to-market strategies from a data perspective. So we really do have a whole platform for people to choose from. We have excellent customer service resources. We have all kinds of direct support, trainings. You know, our whole goal is very similar to both LedgeViews and Microsoft, which is if you're going to buy it, let's use it, right? Let's make sure you guys are using it. So this was my race car, yes. And so this is tools versus fuel. So you have tools, marketing software, CRM, you have sales tools, you have emails, and then you have to have that fuel. And so we are that fuel. That's what's going to be different. So the Microsoft news here, And I'm going pretty quick because I want to open this up to any questions if you guys have some. So Microsoft discontinued us. So as of January 16th, Insights was no longer included for new users. If you purchased Dynamics before, you have until August 15th for Microsoft to keep paying for it. Okay. So if you purchase Dynamics and you already have it and you're using it, keep using it. If you don't have Insights installed yet and you want to use it, you may use it if you purchase those licenses before January 16th. Go install it from AppSource, download it, use it, ask us questions. We have a ton of types of trainings that you guys can do. So we have a date, which is March 31st. We are trying to transition as many people as possible. We have 70,000 Insights users. We are trying to transition everybody as soon as possible so that we can spread out that customer success story and really help people onboard and get trained and love it and use it. So we are offering incentivized pricing until March 31st. If you guys want to do this, we're going to give you a bunch of email addresses. You can contact your person at LedgeView, and then we can start those conversations. The pricing is tiered, so it's customized, so we can't just give you a one for all. And then August 15th is that last day that you guys can continue to use it. On August 16th, sadly, we will turn it off. So this is not unexpected. Microsoft actually stopped their OEM relationships with all companies. They had about 5 different ISVs that they had this relationship for. So we were not targeted in the CRM space. It was us and Versium, and then there were some others in some other spaces. And they've just decided that they really want to make it much more of a free market space, lower their costs of goods sold. I mean, it's really a whole bunch of things. So there were other companies that got caught up in this. So it wasn't just Insights. So I'm actually going to open up to Q&A. I'm happy to go back and show you guys some things. We do have a bunch of time left, but I wanted to really give you guys the opportunity to ask some questions and put things out on the table. All right, so I have a question here. And Chad, I don't know if you want to open it up so people can ask questions, but I'm trying to open up my little questions pane. All right, so I've got some questions here. So let me go through these. Maybe I'm confused. So I did give you, so Jason, you were asking a question. So did we show you all the high level things? Awesome. All right. So this is an add-on. This is going away. All add-ons that Microsoft were paying for are going to go away. So it's just not going to be free. It's not that it's discontinued. We are very much on the path. We are a $30 million company. We are not going away. We actually have a very big footprint in some other ecosystems. All right, so we are not going to show the pricing. Somebody asked about the pricing, Jason. We are not going to show the pricing because it's based upon two factors that start making it a little bit complex. One is that it's based upon tiered, right? There's people that are in the 25 seats, 50 seats, 1,000 seats, right? And as you can imagine, those 1,000 seats get a different tier than the 25 seats too. So that's one component. We do have another way that we are pricing it, and so this is new for us. Most companies will price based upon how many users want to use it. So let's say I have 12 salespeople and 100 people in my company. We can sell it to you based on the 12 people. We also have companies that want us that just say, you know, I just want everybody that has a CRM seat to have it, and we have different pricing for that. And as you can imagine, that's quite a bit lower so that they can have let their whole company have it. So from a pricing perspective, we are happy to have that pricing conversation with you. We are trying to work out the best pricing for you, which is why it makes sense to have that conversation. As it's just we don't want you to accidentally select the bigger package. We want you to select the less expensive package. So that's what we're trying to do with Insights. So I have a question for you guys, if you guys don't have any questions for me. Show of hands, are any of you guys working with, does anybody here have LinkedIn Sales Navigator? Is anybody using LinkedIn Sales Navigator here? No, nobody's using LinkedIn Sales Navigator? Okay. So if you guys are using it or thinking about using it, we do have a webinar that we do, and actually let me show you, I'm going to show you a slide real quick because we have a ton of training. We do have a webinar that we do, which is how do you use us with LinkedIn together, because we are very much complementary. We do about a little bit of a 20% overlap, but we actually work together. So any other questions? I know we're a little bit shy on time, and I'm happy to go back and show something specific if you guys have any questions. Like, does it do this, or can I do that, or what about this? Does anybody have something specifically they'd like to see? So the question is, if we decide to purchase the app, how can the users be trained? I'm going to pause my screen for a second, Jason, because we actually have a bunch of options for you on that. So give me a minute and I will show you a slide on that. So there are a ton of options that we have. I think if I go backwards here. All right, so just let me show you this. So from a customer success standpoint, we do a couple of things. If somebody purchases a package of $15,000 or more, you get a human customer success manager, and it is their job to help you roll it out, implement it, train it, figure out a program. For those people, we also tie in customized, personalized training, meaning we have full-time people and their job is to train users, right? To train companies to set up those schedules. If you don't fall into that, or for everybody else, we have direct support, and I will tell you, we have the best support team. I love our support team. They get back to people quickly, they solve problems. We have a very high NPS rating for our support team. We have online trainings, we have on-demand trainings you can go watch anytime you want. We have live bi-monthly trainings. I actually just got off one about 30 minutes ago, which is, how do you do this? Let's go talk about it. We ask questions, we let people come off the phone. Well, what about this? Well, my company does it this way. So we do live bi-monthly trainings, which I get very, very high marks on because it's about them. We do have a whole YouTube channel with quick tip videos. We have a ton of quick start guides, both in the how do you roll it out as a whole, and how do you talk about it in individual components. So if I care about my customer and I want to go, professionally stock them with the watch list or the news, how do I do that? So we have a ton of different ways for you guys to digest this data in whatever way works for your company. We also have a training campaign, which is one of the things we're big fans of, is when we set up a training, as then we reinforce it with an email every couple weeks. Hey, do you remember that you could go sync that data? Hey, do you remember you could go build a watch list? So we have actually a ton of customer resources perspectives from that. So hang on, let me see what this question is. So one of the questions is, if we had business development users, so I think what you're asking is, if you have some users that can have it and some users that don't get it, meaning you didn't pay for everybody, what happens? So what's going to happen is they would see a white box if you share a form. So if you have a form, an account form, sales users that get insights would see insights, and the other people would see a blank box. Or the box might say, hey, you don't have this, to contact your CRM administrator. I don't actually remember which way they do it. I think most people will have two forms. So they'd have the form for sales, and then they'd have, this is what the salesperson sees that gets it. And for the rest of the people that don't get it, they would have a separate form, and that would just be off. So they wouldn't know that they didn't have anything. So that's going to be typically. Darcy asked, is it $15,000 per year? Darcy, that's going to be based upon the number of people using it and how you license it. So that's, I can't quite answer that question, although I'm happy to take that offline with you. So I had some people are not using, have used Insights in the past. Right now, no one's using it. Let's say in October, I have a couple of salespeople express interest in InsideView. Will the information already in the sales system from past salespeople still be available to them? The answer is yes. We don't. We will hang on, I need to think about that. So it depends, Kelly. So Kelly asked that question. So it depends what will happen for Insights licenses if you don't buy it by August 15th. Those licenses will change to free licenses, and some of the data would get lost. So for instance, if I had 5 watch lists, you would only get to see one watch list with a couple things. So you would lose some of that data if you guys don't commit by August 15th. But if you have specifics, I'm happy to take that offline with you. Let's see.
But Michelle, would you just touch on real quick, once August 15th happens, if somebody's using it and they decide they don't want to go with the paid version, they've got it set up in their leads and their account views, what's going to happen with that box? Is it going to disappear? Is it going to just freeze? Is it going to show an error? What can they expect?
I believe the box is just going to say, this is no longer, you no longer have this. Go talk to your CRM admin. It'll be something super simple, super sweet, which is, you no longer have this. Go talk to your admin.
Okay.
So white box with just a little bit of text in it is what they'll end up seeing. If they don't want it, then they'll have to uninstall it, basically. And then it will obviously take it off the view. Uninstalling it does not wreak havoc with anything in Dynamics. It doesn't affect anything. Honestly, it's just a little box that sits inside there. So it should be fine once people uninstall it. I will tell all of you guys that you will start seeing, if any of you guys have Insights installed, you will start seeing messages both from us and as well from Microsoft that are starting to elevate the urgency, which is, hey guys, you don't have this. Do you know this is going away? So just so you guys know, admins have seen this. Salespeople will start seeing this as it continues to get closer and closer to that date. If they click the little check mark, so I'll show you guys where it's going to sit at an account. So you'll see it in the box. You'll see a little yellow box up here, just like Microsoft shows their little yellow box when there's something to add. You'll see a little yellow box here that will just say, hey, Insights is going away. If you click on the X there, it's going to go away for 2 weeks and it won't come back again for 2 weeks. Just so you guys know, when your users, if you guys are admins and your users come to you, that's what's happening, is they're starting to elevate that conversation there. Any other questions? Chad, do you have anything else as well?
No, I think that covers it, and it doesn't seem we've got any others coming in. Do you have any other closing remarks, Michelle?
No, I mean, we'd love to have people switch over. If it's a good fit, great. If you guys have questions on if it's a good fit, please talk to us, talk to LedgeView. It's important that it is a good fit for you. And quite often what we see is if they haven't had formal training, this is typical of software, you use about 10% of it. Once we get in there and we get to do formal training, we see about a 75% usage rate, which is pretty fantastic. So if you're not using it, just because you're not using it or necessarily seeing the value doesn't mean that there's not value to be had. But having a conversation would, that's things where we can say, hey, look, you know what, you're right, it's not a really good fit based upon your business, or hey, look, did you know you should be doing this? In which case people go, oh, that's great. So, people have time to go look at this, think about it with their users, but if you guys talk to us, we can help you assess that fit. Or if you guys talk to your folks at LedgeView, they can help you assess that fit and just see if it's the right tool for you guys.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much, Michelle, and everybody joining us. You can watch your inboxes. We'll be sending the recording out on demand where you can go back through. You can share this with others. And again, if you have any questions at any time, please feel free to reach out to us here at LedgeView Partners, to your account manager. And also in our Dynamics 365 monthly user groups, we're happy to answer questions during those as well. So we're at the bottom of the hour. So thank you very much, Michelle. Thank you to everybody and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.